Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 20th of August. It is Tuesday. We have a 13 game main slate ahead of us. And from my understanding, we do not have any weather to worry about at this point. Reminder, I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you are on FanDuel, I would go with about a half or a third in terms of my pitcher pool. But let's dig in here. First look, seeing Cole Ragans against the Angels. Obviously going to be one of my favorite options on the slate. Kind of hit a little bit of a wall with some starts and then has ramped it back up again. It's just been phenomenal this season. He did struggle with the Angels the first time he faced them. I'd be curious to go back and look. That kind of looks like a time when the Angels were destroying left-handed pitching. They had like a week to 10-day stretch where it seemed like every starting pitcher they were facing was left-handed. But I don't know for sure. I'd have to go back and look at the box scores in that area just to get an idea. But yeah, I mean, Reagan's strikeout upside at home has been phenomenal. So I'm just going to roll with him. As far as game lines, he's a minus 205 favorite. Game total of 8.5, juices on the under. K prop of 6.5 with juice on the over. So great spot for Cole Ragans. I'm going to be relying on him heavily. Best ball round two wise. So probably going to have to double down. Not really going to hedge a whole lot. Might have to build just like one or two angel stacks somewhere, but that's another conversation. Zack Wheeler dominated against this Braves team the first time he faced them. Hasn't been as strong on the road. K numbers aren't as strong either. But the big loss for Atlanta with Austin Riley going down with the broken hand, I believe it was, or maybe it was wrist. K prop is 6.5 with juice on the over for Wheeler. He is a minus 130 favorite. Game total of just 8. Gonna have to dig into kind of his history. Obviously, he's faced Atlanta a ton in his career. His one start against them came his first start of the year, so long time ago. But Wheeler definitely worthy of the spend this evening. Luis Hill, somebody that annoys the hell out of me. His numbers at home have been phenomenal. Walks are always going to be an issue, it seems like. Coming off of a rough start against a weak White Sox squad. Probably somebody that I'm just going to pass on, to be honest. He is a minus 166 favorite. K prop of 5.5, which is on the over actually. But Cleveland generally isn't a huge strikeout team. Pretty patient team. I have a feeling they are going to draw a fair number of walks. So just kind of a decision. I think I'm going to just have to pass on Luis Hill at this point. Ronel Blanco wasn't the sharpest against Boston the first time. But he doesn't give up a ton of hits, which is obviously nice. He does have enough K upside. Not really sure. I mean, K prop of 5.5 juice is pretty strongly on the over. It's not the best of matchups for him. He's a minus 125 favorite. I definitely would put him ahead of Heel, but I have a feeling Blanco might end up on the outside looking in when all said and done with my pitcher pool. But for now, we'll kind of put him on the borderline. I just I, I like the Boston offense enough, especially with the fact that they have plenty of left-handed hitters that have been swinging it pretty well. Um, that's just kind of going to be a tougher one, but Blanco just doesn't give up a ton of hits, so maybe there is a route, and he should make the pitcher pool. Robbie Ray, surprisingly, has not been all that great at home. Um, Two rough starts and then one pretty solid start. Both of his best starts obviously been on the road. Kind of a weird dynamic considering this ballpark is great for pitching. Uh, don't really know what to say about it, to be honest. He is a minus 245 favorite. Game total of 8. Juice is on the under in that game total. K prop is 6.5 with juice on the over. So I'm going to go back to Robbie Ray. I'm going to understand that it's super volatile. Just based on the style of pitcher that he is. Walks, obviously. Um, really kind of plays the Blake Snell light role. Doesn't get to be as dominant as Blake Snell anymore, but kind of has that same route, walks, wildness, that sort of thing. But when things click, he just dominate, a team like the Dodgers on the road. So uh, Robbie Ray certainly going to be right in the middle of my pitcher pool. A lot of volatility, but we have to be willing to take those chances. Reynaldo Lopez returning from the IL, 71 pitches, over 4 innings in his rehab. I think he's going to probably going to be somewhat limited. But he was good against Philadelphia the last time he faced them just a month and a half ago. But the 3 starts after that, not the greatest. So, excuse me, I'm not sure that we can go with Reynaldo Lopez, but I will be paying attention to that game quite a bit just to get an idea uh, of where he's at. Bailey Ober hasn't been as strong on the road. It's been a pretty big surprise this season. Coming off of a start where he didn't really pick up strikeouts after he was on a roll. Um, Big thing for me is San Diego just does not strike out a whole lot. His K prop's just 4.5, and it's a coin flip, so it's not really no juice either way. Um, he is a minus 112 favorite. Game total is 7.5. I think I'm going to end up passing on Ober. San Diego actually, I believe the last time I looked, San Diego strikes out the fewest in baseball, which is a little weird. But I guess when you add Luis Ariz, that kind of helps out quite a bit. But yeah, I just think his upside is somewhat limited in the matchup. So uh, probably going to have to pass on Ober. Bryce Miller on the road is not the same as Bryce Miller at home. His K rate plummets, his home run allowed rate skyrockets. Um, with that said, the last couple starts have been phenomenal. Um, it is the Dodgers. They are getting healthier. Brought back Max Muncy. Tommy Edman came up, made his debut. So that lineup has lengthened out quite a bit now. Gavin Lux is on fire in the middle. Freddie Freeman's playing through a fractured finger, which is kind of weird to say, but um, I might sprinkle in some Bryce Miller just with the way that he's been pitching. I don't feel spectacular about it. I do fully expect the Dodgers to put up a few runs tonight. The Dodgers are minus 155 favorites. His K prop's 4.5 with juice on the over. Um, if you fully fade, I wouldn't blame you at all, to be honest. Tyler Anderson was decent in Kansas City the first time. Been phenomenal on the road. Uh, Coming off of a rough start. His K numbers have been nice. So that intrigues me from an upside standpoint. His K prop's just 4.5, which is pretty strongly on the under. And he is a pretty large underdog, so I think I probably end up leaning towards a no on Anderson at this point, with the way that the Kansas City offense has been. Uh, Definitely going to lean more towards Cody Bradford here. He's looked pretty good in his return. Now that he's kind of lengthened out, went over 100 pitches last time out. Strikeouts weren't there, but against the Yankees 2 starts ago they were. So I obviously love the upside. Um, Texas, they're minus 155 favorites right now. And it looks like his K prop's at 5.5 with juice on the under ever so slightly. I'm interested in Bradford, kind of somebody that I think probably goes overlooked, just because he's not much of a name and obviously had been hurt much of the year. Another super volatile spot here is Jose Barrios. Obviously, he's been pretty dominant at home. He's just not a strikeout guy anymore, but he does get a strikeout upside matchup. His K prop's just 5.5 with juice on the under. Uh, K prop seems kind of low for the matchup, but he's a minus 148 favorite. Game total of just 8. Um, Cincinnati did wake up a little bit yesterday against Gausman, but I mean, Barrios has been pretty solid much of the season. He can randomly pop off for strikeouts, so it does happen. Uh, just a very volatile spot, but it's one that I want to have exposure to just because of what it can do when it goes that other way that we're looking for. Fetty has not looked great with St. Louis. He was solid against Tampa Bay, but his other starts not been good. So I don't really think I need to pick on Milwaukee. He is a minus 125 favorite. Game total is just 7.5. K prop of 4.5, but I just don't feel great about it. Um, if he drops a 17 where he's solid, similar to this Texas line, um, I don't really think we miss out on anything. It's just kind of an unappealing option that I think I'm going to end up passing on. Nick Pivetta here. Houston, tough matchup. Gives up a ton of home runs. Overall numbers have been better on the road, but he gives up a lot more home runs on the road, which is kind of weird. Um, Obviously, 2 home runs allowed in each of his last 4 starts to get an idea, but he can strike out guys. Issue here is Houston isn't a huge strikeout team, so it's kind of a trade off. This is one I'm probably gonna have to think about a bit. He does have a K prop of 5.5 with juice on the over, but he is a slight dog. That's one definitely have to think about as the day goes on. He is somebody that I'd like to play just because he has big time K upside when it comes together, but I'm not really excited about taking him on the road in Houston. Mitch Keller gonna probably pass on him. He's looked pretty bad the last couple starts. Shane Baz, somebody that I always play, got upside taking on an Oakland team that does strike out, but they do have power. I think Baz minus 120 road favorite. K prop of 5.5 with juice on the under. But I think he has the upside. Walker Bueller has not looked good. I wish I could use him against Cincinnati, Seattle, but gonna gonna end up passing there until he shows me that he's healthy. Javier Assad, I am somewhat interested against Detroit. I'm gonna have to kind of look into his numbers a little bit more. Uh, Obviously, he was hurt for a while, but he hasn't been overly dominant since his return. Not a huge K guy. May end up having to pass on Assad, to be honest. Um, Not really interested in much down here. Carson Spears intrigues me a little bit, but he hasn't been great the last couple times out. That game total was low enough that I did have some interest, but I just don't think I'm going to get there. But so there's kind of the first look at the pitcher pool. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us and get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will drop a link in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off. And as always, best of luck, everybody.